My guest today is somebody who has one of the unique distinctions of being a minister in all the three Modi governments. First in a very important ministry, in the Ministry of Home Affairs, as a Minister of State, and then in two rounds as Cabinet Minister. Mr. Rijiju, let me ask you, this is a rare occasion, in many years it has not happened that a government has been formed on the third time as well. What is so unique about your 100 days? I mean, what is it that the country needs to celebrate about?
We are celebrating, first of all, the historic third term of Modi ji's tenure as well as the achievement of the first 100 days of the third term. Incidentally, today is Prime Minister Modi ji's birthday. Now, we don't celebrate Modi ji's birthday with cakes and candles. We celebrate with our success story and also to tell the people that, look, we are here to serve the people and to take the country forward. So with that, today's day is very special to all of us.
That's fine, but this time when you came to power, as I said, it's a rare occasion. It has happened much in previous times as well. The determination that many people see is also because they think that your mandate has been reduced, and that's why you are in a super fast mode to fulfill many of your promises.
If you have to judge government's strength and performance, you have to see the implementation of the schemes. Pre-2014, we all know how we used to struggle for every scheme to be implemented. Even half of the amount meant for the purpose of the development used to be siphoned off. Rajiv Gandhi himself had said that only 15% of the total amount reaches the actual targeted beneficiaries. So keeping that in mind, in 2014, when Modi ji started Jan Dhan Yojana, now this is opening of the bank account of every individual, especially the poor people. Many people used to make fun of that scheme, saying that people have no money, why the bank accounts are open. But they didn't realize that is the first financial inclusive steps taken by the Prime Minister Modi ji. And then subsequently, that itself has become the hallmark of our reaching out to the people. Then Digital India program happened. Aadhaar was introduced. And then through mobile phone, the amounts were transferred directly to the targeted beneficiaries. Similar way, if you see the entire performance of the government, Modi ji didn't think in terms of compartment. He brought all the compartments into a series of links so that you take one action, then there are other parameters which are all linked to it. For example, now I have handled many portfolios during the last 3 terms. I am in charge of particular ministry, but I don't work in isolation. We are adopting the whole of the government approach. Means every part of the government, every the sphere of the influence of government is actually working together for the benefit of the people. So over the past 10 years, the amount of hard work which we have done in terms of executing the process of the implementation is so fast that now we are reaching the saturation mode. Everybody has got the benefits of the government scheme. So now we are moving towards the next phase of development. Now, when Prime Minister said 2047 we have to achieve a status of a developed nation, that means we have to work in that speed. So foundation for the Viksit Bharat is laid. Now it is how fast we can achieve that target. 2047 is the target, maybe before that. So now first 100 days, then 5 years, tenure, then next, like that. So it's a well calculated steps. That is why we are already on the mode to enhance the speed of our implementation. Prime Minister Modi ji has already said that the implementation process as well as the manner in which we work will be 3 times faster than what we used to work in the past. So with that enhanced commitment, we are celebrating this 100 days of our achievement, whose blueprint was prepared well before the election. And then now we are in a mode of implementation of the entire thing. So if you compare with our government this term and the previous 2 terms, it is continuity, but with a faster speed in terms of implementation.
So effectively, you are saying, Mr. Rijiju, that it has nothing to do with your mandate. It is just that you want to achieve a certain target, and that is why this kind of speed is necessary. Now, let me also ask you, for the benefit of our viewers, that which would be the one scheme that Kiren Rijiju will pick out of these 100 days that you have been implemented, which you think is a transformational scheme, like you can talk about Jan Dhan or you can talk about DBT. So which would be the one scheme of these 100 days that you would say is a transformational scheme going to transform India like never before?
I think it's difficult to pick, but if you see sector-wise, the vital sectors like agriculture, the first signature of Prime Minister Modi's 3rd term was on disbursement of 20,000 crore to 9.3 crore farmers. So you say in Hindi, ek jhatke mein itna kaam ho gaya. So with one stroke of signature which Prime Minister did, 9.3 crore farmers are benefited. In a similar fashion, like 10 lakh Lakpati Didis. Now, within a short time, Prime Minister has taken so much steps, and then he distributed 10 lakh certificates to the Lakpati Didis. Means the rural, those ladies working in a far-flung villages of the country suddenly becoming Lakpati because of the drones, other agricultural and other stuffs which we are being supported. In a similar fashion, for the youth, for the women, these are, sector-wise, it's difficult to say that one I have to pick above the other one. And then you see for the employment generation, the numbers of schemes being taken up to create better employment opportunities for the youth. It's a series. You can't pick up one. Same manner if you say infrastructure, the transformational steps taken, 11 lakh, 11,000, 1,100 and 11 crore rupees announced through budget to be spent in capital expenditure. This is transformation. This is more than the total budget during the UPA time. The Congress time budget used to be 5 lakh, 6 lakhs crore.
But that changes with time. Every 10 years, economy has to...
No, it's not changed in 2-3%. No. You have to understand one thing. How many years India took to become $1 trillion economy?
But that also was a different era, Mr. Rijiju. I mean, we are in an era of faster growth.
If you don't count the quantum jump in particular tenure, then you will miss out the achievement. 2004, Manmohan Singh became Prime Minister. India was ranked 11. In 2014, India still ranked 11. So according to your argument, it should have changed. They got 10 years. In 10 years, why did not India change? And 2014 to 2024, India jumped from 11th to 5th. That is why I am saying, you can't miss out the quantum jump you achieve during a tenure. Then only you can qualitatively and quantitatively assess the performance of the government. Now, within the next 3 years, we are most probably, almost certain, going to become the 3rd largest economy. So why did not Congress able to achieve that? So
you are saying your policies are better than Congress's policy, or your
not only
speed
policies,
of implementation?
Performance and implementation.
Speed of implementation is better. Now let me talk to you about your portfolios, Mr. Rijiju. In the Parliament, we have seen that the level of fight, level of cantankerousness has actually gone up. It should have come down. Why?
The Congress party initially thought that from 54 seats, they have got 99 seats. So they have enhanced their power and they are, being given the big mandate by the people of India. They don't realize for third consecutive term they could not reach 3 digit of seats. In any other democratic setup, no leader will be allowed to lead the party if he loses 3 consecutive elections. Suppose if I lose elections after elections, then my party will change the candidature. If Modi ji doesn't win election for 3 terms, he would not be Prime Minister again. But here is a Congress party. It doesn't matter they win or lose. The same Rahul Gandhi is the leader, he is the boss, he is everything. That is why he doesn't care. He knows that let other people go to the dogs. He will still continue to be the leader of Congress party. That is why we feel that India deserves a better, more efficient and more effective opposition party. As a Parliamentary Affairs Minister, I am very disappointed with the Congress party's performance in the Parliament and outside as an opposition party, because they are not talking about the economic policies, they are not talking about the government's implementation of the schemes, they are talking about democracy is killed. Democracy was killed by the Congress party in 1975. They are talking about judiciary being hijacked. Judiciary was hijacked by the Congress party when top senior 3 judges were superseded and the junior one is made the Chief Justice of India. Judiciary was captured when 17 judges of the High Court was transferred on a single stroke of pen by the Congress party. They don't realize that.
But I see that you are making good use of your previous experience of Law and Justice Minister. No, but let me ask you one question, Mr. Rijiju. It is also incumbent on the government and the treasury benches on so much that now that the opposition has numbers, for the first time after a decade, you have a leader of opposition designated in the country. It's a constitutional post. To show enough respect to that, to the increased mandate. What's the problem with that?
I really want that Congress party, after getting the title of the leader of opposition, they will perform better with more responsibilities. The most unfortunate, not for me, for Indian parliamentary democracy, is the leader of opposition, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, is unable to perform his duty. Not only he failed in his duty, but he has miserably misused his position. Now the leader of the opposition tells the speaker that his mic is switched off. Anybody in the parliament knows that your mic will be switched on when your turn comes. When the speaker calls the name of a particular member of parliament, his mic will be turned on, his or her statement will be recorded. Now, Rahul Gandhi shouts out of his lungs out and tells the world that he is not allowed to speak. The person who speaks the most says that he is not allowed to speak. He goes to England and America and elsewhere, and he abuses the country's system. Country's systems are functioning well. It is only the Congress party which is not functioning well. That is why we are in a situation where we have an opposition party, but which is not performing as an opposition party. We have a leader of opposition who doesn't know what is the role of opposition leader. That is why I want to advise the Congress party. We may be adversary. We are opposition parties to each other in terms of political, the strict sense of political democracy. But we are not enemies. Why are you treating government as if it is untouchable? Why are you abusing Prime Minister Modi ji day and night? Now, we are a democracy, so all the ideologies have its own place. Whichever ideology people accept will form the government. Now, Congress says that BJP ideology is not acceptable. It may be unacceptable to you, but people have accepted it. But they have not come to the term that they are rejected and we are elected.
So that is fine. Let us say, let's take this argument on its face value that Congress is not behaving as a responsible opposition. But what about you as the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, Mr. Rijiju, and your party BJP making space for opposition. What about that?
Yeah, we are giving more space than they deserve. In fact, I had gone to the Congress party president's residence. I met all the prominent opposition parties. I sought their support. But I think some of the opposition parties are trying to be responsible. Some of the opposition leaders are trying to be responsible opposition leaders. But Congress is not allowing them to be responsible. For example, the parliament begins with the election of a pro tem speaker. Now, government chooses one of the senior MPs as the pro tem speaker. The Congress boycotted the proceedings. Can you imagine? Has it happened in the Indian history of parliamentary democracy? The Congress time, then they had made the pro tem speaker to those people who are not the senior most. 2004, before that, 2009. But when we proposed the name of the pro tem speaker, Congress said they are not acceptable to it. It is not their government now, it is our government. Government will propose the business. They are there to cooperate. But they missed the bus. They sat out, they boycotted the process of electing pro tem speaker. Similarly, they are behaving in a manner which is unbecoming of the members of the House. They did not allow Prime Minister to speak.
Yes, that was unfortunate and should have been...
You see, Nikunj, you are a senior journalist. You pick up the history of Indian parliamentary democracy, right from 1951 to 2024. Has there been a case where the sitting Prime Minister of the country is not allowed to speak in the parliament? This is the first time, both in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, the Congress party and opposition party, they came to the well of the house, stood before the Prime Minister, and from the beginning to the end, they were shouting and not allowed PM to speak. PM had to complete his speech by raising the pitch of his voice. How unfortunate. If Prime Minister is not allowed to speak in the parliament, who should speak? Tell me. These are the reprehensible actions taken by the opposition party which make them totally unfit to be the opposition parties. I want, as a Parliamentary Affairs Minister, I would coordinate with all the political parties to function the Parliament in a smooth manner and transact the business through proper discussions and dialogue. But unfortunately, the Congress party are neither performing as an effective opposition party nor behaving with the traditions which are prevalent in our system.
Mr. Rijiju, that's a fair point you make, that the Prime Minister's speech should not have probably been disrupted by the opposition members, and that could have completely been avoided. But when the opposition parties say that during their term to speak, it is a very, very abrupt chair which comes in the way of their completing their sentence or their completing their message or their completing their, whatever point they wish to make, then the acrimony is somehow there. Why? Now, let me ask you an additional question. Why don't you give the Deputy Speaker post to the opposition?
Well, that is a matter to be discussed later amongst the parties. It is a subject which requires debates, deliberation, discussion, but these are managed internally. These are discussed. But we can debate and do all kind of political stunts outside. But how you actually clinch the deal, it all depends on the discussion in a closed door.
Let me ask you about your other ministry, the other hat you don as the Minority Affairs Minister. There was a contentious bill right in the very beginning, Waqf amendment bill that was proposed by the government. What's the rush, Mr. Rijiju?
I think we are very late, too late. Waqf properties in India are to be utilized in a much better possible manner. If you see the Sachar Committee report and the JPC which Congress had constituted. I'm talking about its relevant recommendations with regards to Waqf properties. Everybody said that Waqf boards must be broad-based. The Waqf properties must be managed with proper accounting manner, transparently, using all the modern, whatever system we have, digitalize or make it transparent and all. The most critical point with regards to Waqf property is, if majority of the Muslims are poor in this country, then the largest properties available in the country should be utilized for the welfare of the Muslim community. Now, many people in India keep on saying that Waqf boards have the third largest properties in India. That itself is a wrong statement. I've heard it many times. Even the media people keep saying that after defense and railways, Waqf boards have the largest numbers of properties. That is so wrong. Railway lines, we have thousands and thousands of kilometers railway tracks. Who use it? It's the people like us, the passengers. The country use the railway tracks and railway platforms. Defense land, it is the country's property. The defense is for what? To defend the country. Our armed forces are using those lands for training, for their camp, for all other purposes to make India secured. How can you compare defense land and railway lands with the Waqf properties? Waqf properties are private properties. Waqf properties in India is tremendously, highly valuable, but they are not being utilized. So that is why the Waqf properties in India are not only highest in India, but is the highest in the world. Indian Waqf properties are, in a way, you cannot imagine how much valuation it actually has. So when we say that this much of Waqf properties, more than 9 lakhs Waqf properties, should be better managed and better utilized for the welfare of the poor Muslim, the women, the children, the weaker sections within the Muslim community. Why is Congress party and these people are having problem with that? And if Muslims are poor, who is responsible? It's the Congress party. They ruled this country for more than 5 decades.
Do you think there is politics behind it?
It's only politics. See, now we have sent it to JPC.
Yes, there were demands of sending it to JPC.
So that more people can provide their views.
Yes.
Then why some people are going around holding the mics and announcing that, everybody should protest against this Waqf amendment bill and scan the QR code and then send it to the JPC and all. And people like Zakir Naik, Congress party and this ecosystem, why they are all standing in one podium, speaking one language? Actually, they are against the welfare of the Muslims. I straightforward accuse the Congress party, people like Zakir Naik and the Congress ecosystem for deliberately keeping the Muslims poor. They themselves know it. The Sachar committee was constituted by the Congress party. JPC headed by Rahman Khan was constituted by the Congress party. 1976, the Waqf inquiry report was made during Congress government. Then, why did they not take any action based on those recommendations? No, when we are taking, they should be very happy. They knew the problem, but they didn't have the guts to go ahead and implement it, because 200 families, the powerful, corrupt families, have captured the Waqf properties all over the country. They make millions. The rest of people are dying. And this is what our government has decided, that we will not let the poor Muslims keep on suffering and their Waqf properties are just piling up. It's billions and billions of dollars worth of Waqf properties are lying. Making, just Muslims should prosper doesn't make Muslim prosper. You have to ensure that for the prosperity of the Muslims, make use of those properties for the welfare of the Muslims.
But the charge, Mr. Rijiju, is that you are trying to hijack those properties because you want to dismantle the influence of a certain section of minority community and bring your own people into the booth. That's the charge.
The country is run by the laws enacted by the Parliament. The laws are as per the spirit of the Constitution of India. Can anybody usurp anybody's right like that? Can we make a law to take away the lands of the Muslims or any other communities? You cannot. Who is spreading such false narrative in the society? You can very well identify it. That is why Zakir Naik, Congress party, they are same, speaking same language. That is why I have seen and I have said repeatedly, the hardliners, the anti-India elements, Pakistan's language, Congress party's language, and the spirit of the words which we keep on hearing from Zakir Naik, they all are same. They are all not only against India, but they are against the well-being of the Muslim community. I think they treat Muslims as vote bank. So the Congress party treats Muslims as vote banks. That is why they want to keep Muslims poor. Because if Muslims prosper, they will have a better outlook towards the world, so they will not become Congress vote bank. Many of the Congress leaders come to me and they say that they start their election with 15% ready-made Muslim votes. That is the Congress attitude. And I feel sorry for the Muslim community, that the Congress party treats Muslims as a private property. They treat Muslims as their private vote bank. And poor Muslims don't know they are exploited with the Congress party for last 75 years. And they are still, some of the Muslims are still ready to be exploited by the Congress party. So, Waqf Amendment Bill is a bill which will transform the Waqf properties, and much of it is for the benefits and welfare of the Muslim community.
Let me come back to the original agenda of our interview, Mr. Rijiju, the 100 days of Mr. Modi's government, Mr. Modi's third government. Do you think that the strand that have developed in these 100 days, you are going to take it forward in the next coming 4.5 years, the rest of the tenure of the government, so to say? And according to you, this probably can be the transformational period that the country needs after 1 decade of your rule, since you say that the base is now set and now you can achieve the speed that you wish to achieve.
Now, this is the most important point for me, for the country. First, around 65 years, you see what is the condition of the country. Now, we have entered the Amrit Kal. At the time of the independence, in 1947, India was at par with Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, China, South Korea, Taiwan. See, we are, a group of countries which emerged together. Where is South Korea? South Korea's per capita income is about 15 times more than India's. Singapore's per capita income is more than 20 times of India's per capita income. All this Malaysia, all this Taiwan, South Korea, they are far ahead of India in terms of per capita income. Why? Congress time, 40% of the poor people in the world are Indians. Who made this? Now tell me, Congress had uninterrupted rule for such a long time. Why they made India a poor nation? Tell me. Has any Congress leader set a target that India should be rich, developed? No, no vision. It is only Prime Minister Modi ji who set a target with full confidence, big dream, by 2047, India will be a developed nation. And then subsequently, step by step, all necessary actions are being taken. Otherwise, should we remain poor forever? If we go by the Congress logic, And if people who love Congress party, ask them why they love to be poor, why they want India to remain poor. Today, India is the fastest growing economy amongst the big economies. And we are a leading nation, and many big countries have said that today India has a capacity which can not only drive India's future but will also influence the future of the globe. Major conflicts around the world, people are saying that Prime Minister Modi and India can take great decisions to resolve very much those important crises which we are seeing today. So that is why I'm saying, now after giving the clarion call to make India a Viksit Bharat by 2047, everybody should join. If anybody wants to oppose our government, you oppose in terms of, your differences in opinion for policies and other steps taken. But where you have to hit India's basic structure, they hit India's democracy. They work with anti-India elements and they connive with them and then work against India's interests. All the people who sponsor Rahul Gandhi's trip to the foreign countries, you know very well, they are all anti-India elements. Whether it's those radical people working against India, whether in Canada or in America or in England or Australia, they all are hell-bent on destroying India's future, and Rahul Gandhi and this gang, this so-called toolkit group and his ecosystem are well integrated with the same people. It's very unfortunate. But we will never allow them to succeed. People of India know them. That is why after third attempt, Congress could not reach 3 digits, and still they think that they have won the election. What kind of perception, what kind of people they are? I don't know, the thinking of Congress party. Maybe they are interested to protect the prince of Congress party, who is forever young, Rahul Gandhi. Stays for 3 days in India, then 3 days he is vanished. Stays in India for 15 days, then he goes out to foreign countries, and then he is missing for next 5 days. We don't want to ask where he goes, what he does, but he should have the commitment for the country. He has zero connection with the ground reality. Rahul Gandhi will go to a cobbler. He thinks that now he has learned India. He goes to a farmhouse. He thinks that this is India now. He goes to one state in Northeast. He says now he has learned Northeast. He meets a businessman. He thinks that, oh, that is the new thing which he has learned. Every day he is learning new thing because he has not learned anything that is the real thing. He is unfortunate man imposed on the Congress party. Whenever Rahul Gandhi speaks, Congress party are in deep trouble. They tell us, they can't say publicly, but they tell us that the moment Rahul Gandhi speaks, they are prepared to defend him because he will cause embarrassment and they are going to clarify it. He is such a huge burden for the Congress party. Anyway, that is a Congress issue. I don't care. What is important to me and what is, that bothers me is that he speaks against India and that is being supported by so many other actors.
Mr. Rijiju, as always, thank you very much for speaking to NDTV, speaking from your heart and speaking unabashedly on many issues. I wish you luck. This term has just begun, and I wish that your ministries, particularly under your charge, you continue to serve the nation with the same amount of zeal and vigor that you have been.
Thank you very much. Thank you.